Hi, I'm OWI attorney Sam Moore, and today we'll continue our series on NASBLA's seeded battery of standardized field sobriety tests, this time focusing on the palm pat test. To better understand the procedures and evaluation of this test, let's go to the manual. The manual states, remember that the subject should have already been given the general instructions of keeping their arms down by their sides. The standard instructions are as follows. Place your hands palm to palm with one hand up and one hand down, like this, and then demonstrate. More specifically, start the demonstration by putting one hand out in front with the open palm facing upward. The opposite hand is then placed on top of the first hand with the palm facing downward, with the hands and the fingers parallel. The demonstration will show that the hand with the palm facing upward is held in a stationary position. The hand on top with the palm facing downward will be the only hand moving. Remain in this position while I explain the test. Do you understand? Wait for their response. When I tell you to begin, turn the top hand over and count out loud 1. Then turn the hand back over and count out loud 2, counting only when your hands make contact like this. Demonstrate at least 2 sets at a moderate pace. 1, 2, 1, 2. Repeat this, speeding up as you go, and do not stop until I tell you to. Make sure to keep your hands and fingers parallel during each pat, like this. Do you understand? Get acknowledgement of understanding. Begin. Additionally, the subject should perform this test for a minimum of 10 seconds, but no more than 15 seconds. If the speed has not noticeably increased within 4 or 5 seconds, prompt the subject to increase the speed. The goal is to reach a relatively rapid pace. The test requires monitoring 2 sets of clues, compliance with the instruction stage and accuracy during the performance stage. Properly record the information on the SFST performance report form. In the instruction stage, the 2 possible validated clues are, first, being unable to follow the instructions, and second, starting at the wrong time. A subject is considered unable to follow instructions if the test had to be explained to the subject more than twice, or if the subject did not remain in the instruction position during the instruction stage. A subject has started at the wrong time if he or she began the test before being told to begin, either by starting on his or her own at any time, or by following along with the officer's demonstration. The performance stage has 8 clues. First clue is did not count as instructed. This occurs when the subject counts out loud anything other than 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on. 1 must be said out loud only when the back of the top hand makes contact with the palm of the bottom hand. And 2 must be said out loud only when the palm of the top hand makes contact with the palm of the bottom hand. If the subject fails to count out loud, check this clue. However, correct him and advise him to start counting out loud. Next is rolled hands, where the subject fails to fully break contact between the 2 hands when going from one pat to the next, simulating a rolling movement on the bottom hand with the top hand. Double pat. The subject conducts 2 or more of the same pat in a row. For example, the subject pats the palm of the top hand twice in a row. Next is the chopped pat, where the subject hits the bottom hand with the side of the top hand instead of either the palm or the back of the top hand. Like this. Other improper pat, where the subject conducts any pat other than what is instructed and which cannot be checked above. Be sure to describe the pat appropriately in the narrative. Did not increase speed, where the subject does not make a noticeable increase in speed within any 4 to 5 second period of the test. Correct this and remind him to speed up as he goes. Rotated hands, where the subject's fingers no longer run parallel to each other, resulting in a noticeable and distinct rotation in any pat. Like this. Stopping before being told, where the subject stops at any time before the command to stop is given. And that concludes NASBLA's palm pat seeded battery test. Just 2 of the 10 possible clues are all that's needed to suggest that someone is impaired with a BAC of 0.08 or higher. We hope to see you again next week when we talk about the last seeded battery test, the hand coordination test. Stay safe while boating, and remember, arrested doesn't mean guilty.